Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello my beautiful people, and welcome to your Cosmic Catch-Up for week commencing the 25th of May. So when I was preparing, I really found that everything that I covered last week is still very much at play. We still have Venus in Cancer, we still have Mercury in Gemini, and we still have Mars in Taurus. So if you haven't listened, go back and also listen to last week because that energy is ongoing for the next few weeks. So that's just the first background. And then there are a couple of things happening. But first of all, let me ask you, did you get your Sun conjunct Uranus gift last week? Did something happen out of the blue for you on Thursday? And just for the little story, it totally did for me. And it happened on Thursday. I received a message from my brother who is in France, and he suddenly decided to come and visit me. And it just all happened within 24 hours on Thursday. Completely out of the blue, unexpected. So now I'm scrambling to prepare for the guest room, and I was like, wow, this is so Uranus and the Sun in Gemini, because Gemini is also about siblings and it's about communication and transport, and I was like, bang on. So maybe something unexpected also happened to you last week, but I wanted to share because that's another example of seeing how astrology works, right? And is true because you look back afterwards and this was a direct consequence of that transit. Could I have forecasted what would happen? Never, especially with Uranus. But afterwards, you're like, this is typical of that transit. Anyway, moving on to this week. So we have two challenging aspects that we're going to feel during the week. And then on Sunday, we have a full moon. So let me cover those things. So on Tuesday, the 26th, but we are already feeling it. So it's been building for a few days and it will still be at play for the rest of the week. But it peaks tomorrow and is exact. We have a square between Mars and Pluto. Okay. So if you know anything about those two planets, they are two planets of power. So when they're in exact square with each other, it's pretty intense. It's like a clash between two tower forces. And there is a pressure because the square is 90 degrees. So there is a pull, there's a friction. It's not really fun. So there is a pull between Mars in Taurus that says, I want things to stay the way that they are. And Pluto in Aquarius is saying, let's put things into question. Let's move into something different. It's asking for transformation. So we are going to feel that kind of push-pull energy, and it's going to be strong. It depends which part of your chart this is happening, but just focus on really noticing, especially if you're feeling particularly reactive, or noticing that kind of need to push and kind of forcing something through and it not really working, not really happening, and feeling resistance. Do not push harder. The square is there to teach you to resolve things a different way than with force. It is inviting you to really notice if you can find a bridge between those two things. How can you reconcile that? How can you be present with those two things? And I would say, especially around Tuesday, watch that internal pressure and pick your battles in particular and channel that very, very strong energy because it's at the same time really powerful. Use that energy for something else. For instance, channel it into some physical exercise or doing something that requires force or courage, because you will have that. It's forceful. So don't let the forcefulness being at your own detriment and you feeling really stretched and frustrated and trying to get something done and it's not happening. That's not the right way to use the square. Just try to channel all that energy into another area where you can be really productive and you can do something hard, basically. So that's Tuesday, but either side, right? It's going to be happening. And then on Thursday the 28th, we have another square. It's going to feel different because it's Venus and Saturn involved. I remember those ones. I don't myself love those because they feel a little boo. Because Venus is about love and relationship and pleasure and self-worth. So, let's just say the planet of feeling good, if I can say it that way. And Saturn is about limitation. It's about being serious. It's about having a reality check or putting some boundaries. So that's why I said that transit doesn't feel great, because you're going to feel like there was things that you want to buy, for instance, or that you really want to change, or something beautiful. And then at the same time, you're like, oh, but I can't afford it, or I shouldn't do this, or it's not the right time. So it's, again, a little frustrating. It can bring disappointment. It can bring a sense of insecurity around something. Like if, for instance, you're trying to move towards love, but then under that square with Saturn, it may seem to be escaping you, or it's just not the right time. And so you get really insecure or really, frankly, annoyed. And you might be questioning things and feeling like it's not working in terms of your finances, of your love life. So Saturn isn't just there to punish you. This isn't just a square to give you a bad day. But it is there to teach you something. Ask yourself, where is the growth? Is this something that I need to take responsibility for? Is this something that I need to restructure or to simplify? And what is really aligned with my values? It could be that, Saturn is not doing that just to be a pain. It's there to teach you something. So ask yourself, what is the lesson? What do I need to change here for things to flow better? And what's really worth my time and my money and my energy? Usually these are Saturn lessons. So that's Thursday. And then on the weekend, so for everyone in the world, it's on Sunday, the 31st of May. We have a full moon in Sagittarius. So it's happening at 4:45 a.m. in New York, in the UK at 9:45 a.m. and in Australia at 6:45 p.m. So it's actually the second full moon this month. We had one on the 1st of May, which was in Scorpio and was pretty big. We had the new moon in Taurus halfway through the month, and now full moon in Sagittarius. So what a way to finish up with May. There are some interesting aspects to this moon. So it's one that we are going to see, and I think it will bring some gifts. So what to expect? I think the key word I wanted to use for that one is growth, because Sagittarius is about expansion. It's a fire sign, and it's about maybe pushing a little the limits and really trying to stretch ourselves in search of more meaning, in search of our truth. So being a full moon, we are going to be releasing something. Something is going to come to an end. Like it's going to be maybe a bit of a detox or an upgrade in the area of our life where that moon is placed, which is 9 degrees of Sagittarius. So see where this falls in your chart. If you are born during Sagittarius season, or if you have placements around Sagittarius or 9 degrees of Gemini, or also Virgo and Pisces around between 5 and 10 degrees, you are more likely to feel this full moon. So what's the gift? Okay. The thing is, this full moon is there to show us which belief systems are outdated for us, what is ready to be released in terms especially of what we believe to be true about ourselves, about where we are, about where we're going. And it's asking us, therefore, to review those beliefs and to move outside our comfort zone, to follow a path that feels true. So a little kicker, we have Uranus trade opposite this full moon. So whatever is coming through, because those full moon illuminate something, that will happen probably in a sudden way again. Like there's lots of Uranus energy this month. So something may arrive quite unexpectedly again, or you might feel a sense of restlessness. Uranus in Gemini, I talked a lot about that last week. about the impact on the brain. And I don't know you, but my God, I've been feeling it in my sleep. And if I wake up in the middle of the night, I have all those thoughts that start pinging me, right? So that will continue, especially during the full moon. But also opposite Uranus, it means that it will show us what we have already outgrown. And this is what I love about that gift, right? This is going to push us. This is going to challenge us to see beyond our current thinking. But it's doing that because we are ready. Because the current thinking that we are in is actually restricting us and it's preventing us from going to the next step. And we are going to see it. And we're going to see that we know it under the full moon on Sunday. The moon is also squaring the lunar nodes, which are karmic points in the sky. So that means that it has a dimension that is about serving our future path. This is for us, for our greatest good. It may feel a little like a realignment, but it has that karmic dimension. If you like, a semi-eclipse. Don't quote me on that. That's my own interpretation. It also is supported by a positive aspect with Neptune and Saturn. So that's good. That's going to give us stability with Saturn and structure and a sense of being grounded. So we need that. And Neptune is going to give us the faith, the trust part of it. Okay, so even if you don't fully know the path, that's what this is saying, something will be shown to you towards the end of the week. It may be on Sunday, maybe in the lead up to it, maybe on Monday. Okay. But you will see, and this is something linked to your belief, linked to the possibilities that you see for yourself. And this may come a bit out of the blue, Uranus style, but it's karmic, it's for your future. And you will be supported to see clearly and have faith into what's coming through, okay? So this weekend, change your thinking somewhere, somehow, especially in that area of your life where the moon is. And really aim to be more about being expansive into growing yourself and have an optimistic view. Sagittarius is a little like that. It's fire energy and it doesn't really ask itself what are the risks. It doesn't calculate, it just goes for it. It's a little bit impulsive that way, bit impulsive as in optimistic, like hoping that it will all work out. So have that kind of energy for yourself on Sunday. Like when you think about what else you could be doing, where you could expand, think as if everything's going to work out. So let me give you some questions to ponder so you really understand the flavor of this full moon. What thoughts or beliefs do I need to change or upgrade? So that's a really good opportunity to audit your thoughts, especially if you are stuck in an area of your life but you're telling yourself things like, it's too late, it will never work, or it's always this, or I can't. Those kind of belief that keeps you stuck. And ask yourself, where am I stuck? Maybe in excuses or in my belief, and where am I shrinking my options? You can also ask yourself, what truth am I avoiding? What am I finally ready to admit to myself? That I think will come through clearly for you on the weekend. It's something you will know. And so it's about really processing it and being like, okay, I'm going to release this and I'm going to change my thinking. You can ask yourself, where have I outgrown my reality? What no longer fits who I am becoming? So Uranus will be showing that to you. But it's one thing that it will show it to you, but you can be like, la-di-da-da, no, I'm still this person. While this full moon is saying, say it aloud, admit it, and now what are you going to change about it? And the next question is, if I wasn't afraid, what option would I consider? What would feel expanding to me? So there is a positive note to this full moon. I really choose to see it that way. It's optimistic. It's about growth, but it's not going to feel very comfortable, and it may feel a little restless with that Gemini energy, Uranus in Gemini, and Mercury also is in Gemini in the last degree. So things may be buzzing a little bit around in your head, but look at the bigger picture. This is saying, where are you going? Are you being stuck? Are you being limited by your belief? What do you need to change in order for you to really move forward? Couple of practical tips under the full moon this weekend. Stay open and flexible because of that Uranus energy. So if things happen, just flow with it. Go with it, even if it's not exactly part of your plans. And you can use a visualization for yourself, whether you just do it or you look up a guided one on an app somewhere, which is about your future self. So if you close your eyes and you breathe a couple of times, so you really slow it down and you connect with that higher part of yourself, because we all have it. We don't access it very often because we are stuck in more like our mental load and our fear-based brain that says be careful and do this and maybe I've done something wrong here. But we each have that inner self, that higher self that is there to guide us like a compass. So channel that, connect with that future version of you that has the things that you want, that is aligned at its best with your truth, with your values. And ask this person, what would it say to you? What advice does it have for you? What steps is it giving you from where you are to get there? And that's a really good exercise. I do it often in coaching as well, asking your future self, or you can just use a guided visual meditation on that one. So that's what I have for you this week. Interesting week. So pace yourself, breathe through those squares that we're having on Tuesday and Thursday, and just know this is why it's happening. And try to also really watch still your sleep, your nervous system, because of all the Gemini energy around. Especially try to limit your flow of information. There is so much. I feel it's exploding. And I feel like now if I open like Instagram, there is just so much coming at me. So I've actually been conscious and turning it off because I can't deal. It's just too much. So try to also be mindful of that. And on the weekend, really see what comes through for you, for your own growth in terms of your thinking. What needs to change, and take that expansive view, that positive, optimistic view, and use that to carry you forward. So have a beautiful week, everyone. Take good care and have a very expanding full moon on Sunday. I will speak to you all next week. Bye for now.